Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. We're doing our introduction from the Assembly Chamber here at the state legislature. On the program today, the numbers are in. Now the discussion. Ray Hagar has the rundown.
Well, Sam, our first guest is Morse Arberry, the chairman of the Assembly Ways and Means Committee. Is he going to become the next state treasurer? And our second guest is Republican freshman Assemblyman Brooks Holcomb from Reno, who has taken the role as the champion of career and technical education.
And on the Power Pundit panel today, Bob Ostrovsky, Scott Craigie, and Liz MacMenamin. It's all coming up next from Carson City on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
This is a special edition of Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to this program after a 2-year absence. Very glad to have you back here. Morse Arberry, who is longtime chairman of Assembly Ways and Means. Pleasure to have you here. You sat in the Economic Forum hearing for a while on Tuesday. What were your thoughts on the numbers that came out?
Well, I was very optimistic. I had been hearing so much that we were going to have all this surplus of money, and I kept trying to keep people powder dry so that to let them know, no, let's don't make any decisions until we really know what the Economic Forum is going to come in with some close and basic number that we can work with. And I didn't want to get us out there and then we can't get ourselves back in and have monies that we don't have.
Okay, Governor came out very strongly on the program yesterday and all over the building that he wants that rebate. Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, I know everyone is looking at the rebate. I applaud the governor for trying to give the taxpayers some of their money back. At this point in time, we're going to do the best we can to try to give the taxpayers something back, or whatever we can do, because we really appreciate them taking a step to the step to say, here's the money to run the state, so now help us by refunding us something. So it's something might happen or materialize.
Mr. Arberry, do you think you've put yourself at odds with the governor by your proposal of the $100 million Save the Millennium Scholarship bill? Because, as you know, the governor and legislative leadership had already announced a plan to save the scholarship program earlier in the session.
Well, no, I don't feel that we put ourselves at odds with the governor, and the whole intent is that the governor and part of my leadership is that we were trying to come up with a plan, and that was a beginning to us as a working process. So whatever, as the session progresses, that whatever decisions that this body makes, along with working with the governor, is the process that we'll come up with as far as dealing with the Millennium Scholarship, because we all really want to see the Millennium Scholarship succeed. It's out of the box now. It's never going to come back. And we want to make sure that those young people are educated and not feel that once they're in it, that the money is going to go away. And I think everybody's bottom line is to make sure that that money is there.
Okay. The Millennium Scholarship bills, both yours and the governor's program, they will keep the scholarship fund alive for maybe 10 to 12 years. Now, after that, do you foresee perhaps a lottery coming in and funding the Millennium Scholarship? They do that in other states. Offhand, I can think of Georgia, and it has been quite successful.
You know, I really wish I had that kind of crystal ball. If we didn't have term limits, I could say maybe that would happen, but there would be a whole new different body here. What we're trying to do is get past the point of being able to have it to 12 to 15 years to 20 years. And hopefully by that time, the legislature will have came up with some even better ideas how to fund the Millennium Scholarship. Right now, we're just trying to cover to make sure that it stays 12, 15, 20 years, so no one would have to worry, and not put it in as a line item in the budget.
Okay. You're the longest serving legislator from Clark County, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
20 years.
There is, talk now of putting a bill together to repeal term limits. Would you be in favor of that? Because I know I certainly would.
Yes, I would, because to me, term limits, putting term limits is saying to the voter, you're not educated enough to select who you want to represent you, and that is, to me, is a slap in the face.
Or better still, that if I don't like what you're doing, I want to throw you out.
That is correct.
I mean, that's my great pleasure at the ballot box, is I stand there and I have the best time going, okay, you did good, I'm going to vote for you. You did bad, you're out.
And to me, that is the greatest thing about voting and the way we have our democracy, is that you can choose, and now that right has been taken away from you. If you've been supporting...
Well, we took it away from ourselves.
Right. And that if you're supporting a particular legislator or county commissioner or a city council person, now they've been doing a great job, now they have to get out and not play the game of running for another office and going back and forth. I think you're just playing a game of checkers, and we really don't want to see that.
Well, Mr. Arberry, are you considering running for treasurer, state treasurer? I read that in a news flash by John Ralston out of Las Vegas.
Some people approached me about that, and I think it was mainly because I've been at odds with Brian Krolicki about the Millennium Scholarship. Brian and I are really good friends, so I'm not after his job. I love what I do here. I'm not trying to run for another office. But when someone asks you about something and you might say, sure, I wouldn't mind doing that at some point in time, I never knew that someone would leak it to the press and say, well, he's running for treasurer. I have no considerations right now running for treasurer. I got to deal with the money issues here right now at this legislature. We got 30 days to take care of it.
Okay. Mr. Krolicki, let me ask you one question. In his Millennium Scholarship bill that the Assembly refused to hear, he had a provision in there that no one could really get the Millennium Scholarship unless they had a Social Security number. Now, this would wipe the Millennium Scholarship out for many offspring children of undocumented workers. Do you agree with this? Should you need a Social Security number to get a Millennium Scholarship?
Well, I need to bag up a little bit. And we had, as you know, during the session, we had 4 or 5 Millennium Scholarship pieces of legislation that's coming through. Well, I went to all the sponsors and said, look, everyone has great ideas. What we
even
Krolicki, Brian, he has great ideas. What we will do is we'll come up with, after the dust settles, after we see how much money we're looking at doing the economic forum, then we'll pull all the parties together, we sit around the table, and then we'll come together to make one bill a great bill and take everybody's ideas and discuss these ideas. And that's, to me, was the best way. So that's why everybody's bill died, and because we want to just have one bill after the economic forum.
Okay, very quick question, very quick answer, please. Is full-day kindergarten dead now after these numbers came out?
I can't say that. We're very adamant about full-day kindergarten because it's not to try to make it a babysitting process. We feel that if we could get these young kids at that early age, get them motivated, get them understanding what education is about at that level, we might not have the problems on the back end, because I hate to end up with them in the prison system, because now we're spending $15, $20, so many dollars to keep them locked up, and I don't want to see that.
Morse Arberry, do not take 2 more years before coming back. We'll bring you back much sooner. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you very much.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Brooks Holcomb, who's a freshman assemblyman from Washoe County. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Brooks, you have taken a lead role in this maybe crusade to get more money for career and technical education in Nevada. You have a bill that would create an advanced career and technical education diploma, plus put $12 million into the program. Is that basically?
That's correct.
Why is this having so much trouble? Is it because, is our legislature concentrating on bills that help children pass tests so that the state does better and No Child Left Behind, and therefore maybe kids that want to be a welder or a nurse or a carpenter, they're the ones being left behind in all this legislation?
The problem is it really comes down to funding, because it passed in the Education Committee 10-zip, and at the end of the hearing there was an applause, and I was talking to Lynn Hedrick, and he said that's the first time he's ever heard of an applause from the audience on this bill. It's a very good bill. It addresses 4 concerns that I see, and that's why I introduced it. Number 1, we need to diversify our economy, which is dependent on skilled workers. This will give us skilled, educated workers. Number 2 addresses the problem of dropout rates. We have a very high dropout rate, in fact the highest in the nation. If you look at the statistics, the ones that are enrolled in the Southern Nevada Vocational Technical Education Program, minimal dropout rate, high graduation rate, performance in reading, writing, mathematics, way up there, and this is for minorities as well as whites, Afro-Americans, Hispanics, the statistics are phenomenal, and that's why.
And isn't it true, too, for our economic diversification, with more and more companies moving to both northern Nevada and southern Nevada, that we're going to need these kind of people available to be in the workforce?
Well, that was made loud and clear from people like Norman DeAnda of Q&D was there testifying for it, John Madole of AGC. We had Michael Lynch of the construction company for Northern Nevada. They all testified the same thing. They said the jobs are there. We don't have the skilled workers. The pay is absolutely outstanding. That was a testimony. Basically, when you look at the money for the university, what do we graduate 27%, and then we export a high percentage out of state, where in reality, just looking at the prison system, and I'll just jump in this area, that's one of the outstanding characteristics of the inmates in the prison system. They have no marketable skills. Jackie Crawford, who's taken over, is now introducing marketable skills it reduces the recidivism. And we're spending $500 million, $500 million. We're going to be building 8 prisons in the next 10 years. And why not be expending money in the high schools, giving these kids marketable skills? They're not going to end up in prison. Same thing with state health. We're expending approximately $400 million. That's what's budgeted for mental health. I talked to Carlos Brandenburg. I asked him, I said, the statistics show that 92% of those recipients earn less than $16,000 a year. I said, are a lot of these recipients lacking marketable skills? He said, absolutely. I said, would marketable skills in high school help? He said, absolutely. So basically, we're treating the symptoms rather than one of the causes.
Okay, now your bill in the Assembly, now you're a Democrat.
No, I'm a Republican.
Excuse me, too early in the morning. You're a Republican in a Democrat-dominated Assembly.
Right.
Your bill is basically dead, is that correct?
I was talking to June Caliani, and she said, that much. Yeah.
But a similar bill is alive in the Senate.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
The problem is I'm a Republican elected in a Democratic district, and so I don't know. But it's a funding issue.
Okay.
But we do have a bill in the Senate that will be heard Monday. It's SB 406. We're going to have the same people testifying for that bill in the Senate, and it's in the Finance Committee. It was sponsored by the Senate Education Committee. So if it passes through the Finance, which is the equivalent of the Ways and Means in the Assembly, I'd say it's got a good chance.
Okay.
When you ran against Jason Geddes, you ran saying that you were a much more conservative person than he was. But yet your voting record seems to show that you were pretty much voting the same way he would have voted. How do you respond to that?
I would say that I'm a moderate. And I think that my voting record reflects that. And I'm independent. I vote on the issues. So, and basically, I ran on the issues. And that's, rather than getting into what Jason Geddes did while he was in office, basically, I campaigned on career and technical education, government efficiency. I've got an excellent bill that might be heard next week. I was just told by Mr. Arberry that it's coming up for a hearing next week. And Mr. Perry Como, who's right under the governor, said it's the best bill that he's seen in 8 years. It's a government efficiency bill. And basically, Carol Villardo met with Mr. Arberry and said, I've got 4 bills I want to know about, and one of them is Brooks Holcomb's government efficiency bill.
And she will be on the program next week. We will talk to her about that. And thank you very much for being here.
Okay.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers right after this.
Thank you very much.
This is Nevada Newsmakers. Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
If it's fun, it's here at the Pepper Mill, the $100,000 video-themed slot celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes, $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Pepper Mill's video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you winning?
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by the Power Pundit panel today, and we're joined by Bob Ostrovsky of Ostrovsky and Associates. Pleasure to have you back here. It's been too long.
Yeah, thanks.
Liz MacMenamin, Manager of Government Affairs for the Retail Association of Nevada, one of our proud sponsors, and Scott Craigie, Head of Alrus Consulting. Always a pleasure to have all of you. All right, let's talk about money. What's your response to the numbers from the Economic Forum, Bob?
Well, I think they will disappoint some people, but I think there's sufficient money there to fund, I think, the primary needs of the state and to find some money to meet the governor's demands to return some taxpayer dollars.
And beyond that?
Well, beyond that, I think you know, the leftover money is going to go to capital improvement projects. I think the university system has got, you know, a long list of priorities and some other state projects that need to be done. And no one goes away happy from this building, but everybody gets something, I think.
It's going to be very interesting to see, you know, just policy-wise, how they decide to spend it. If they spend it on ongoing expenses, you know, a lot of people believe this is a year when there's a bubble. Money that'll not be coming in year after year after year. It'll be interesting to see if they spend it on ongoing expenses and get themselves locked in at a level that puts other legislatures in trouble. I don't know. What do you think?
That really bothers me to think about that.
Or one-time expenses, and everyone goes, well, you kind of blew that. Whereas you don't. I mean, there are a lot of good things you can spend that on, but that's a tough policy issue for them, and there's a big temptation to raise salaries and for teachers and things like that.
We had a look at the long list of their different budget pieces, and it's like, oh my God, there's not enough money even to fund some of the requests that are out there. It's amazing.
A lot of them. A lot.
It's really fascinating to see how people come to the table and.
Gee, not enough money to meet all the requests. That's pretty new.
Okay, now the Economic Forum, by virtue of its body, is very conservative. I mean, they're not going to come out and give you the high-end number. They're going to give you the low-end number, correct, Scott?
And for as volatile as our revenues base is, that's a good thing. And the fact that it's an independent group that comes from the financial community, that's a good thing. So the way we do this is really, it's pretty well thought out.
But don't you think maybe these numbers are way low when you consider the new resorts that are opening in Las Vegas that are going to bring us a lot more gaming tax?
Well, it's probably better to be on the low-end side, Ray. When it doesn't come in, then we have a real hole. As we know, this could happen very easily and has happened in the past. So,
You've got this philosophical divide between the two houses about how to spend this money, between the Republicans that control one house and Democrats that control the other. If you put too much money on the table, I think Scott's right. If it gets into ongoing programs, creates this appetite in the budget which goes on for session after session. That's a dangerous road to go down. Don't think the Republicans want to go down there. I think the Democrats are more likely to support programs that might add continuing budget costs into other sessions. I think there's a pretty good divide between the houses now, but I see some things going on in the background, people talking to each other that, you know, real effort to try to resolve this before we get to the end of the session. Maybe we can chop a couple days off this session. I don't know.
Chop a couple of days off of this session.
That's a prediction I would bet the other way. It'll be very interesting to see how much, if any, and I expect there will be some, but how much the next election cycle plays into the budget, how we spend the money that's there. Frankly, I think the committees are doing a pretty good job focusing on the actual needs of the state and what has to be done. I hope that it stays on that road.
Now, you brought up the university system, Bob. Do you anticipate Jim Rogers getting, you know, additional monies beyond what the governor had already budgeted?
Oh, I don't know if we'll get anything beyond what the governor budgets, but I think they will meet many of the priority items that are on their funding list. Expanding out beyond that. Maybe a possibility. I can see things like the Technology Center, I think, at the Community College in Southern Nevada being a possibility. A few things. I don't think there's going to be any pot of gold there beyond much what the governor proposed, but I think a little something.
Liz, what do you think about 5% pay raises for state employees? Is that going to happen now? Or we're going to
I
stay
don't
at
think
2
so.
and 2?
I don't think so. I think we'll see the 2%, and I don't see that there'd be a problem with funding that, but I don't think we'll see 5%. I'd be surprised if we do.
Just look at what happened in Ways and Means yesterday, is that where all the Democrats voted for that 5 and none of the Republicans did. So I think that's kind of dead.
All right, so let's full-day kindergarten toast.
I don't know what's going to happen with kindergarten. I really do think that there's a chance that they might advance in that area. Now, whether they get to full-day kindergarten statewide or if they do some things in the high-needs schools, one of the things that we know, we're not meeting the needs for academic standards for academic performance, and we can't when we have so many non-English speaking students that are moving into our state year by year. This is happening throughout the entire Southwest. It is a serious problem, and on some level we've got to deal with quality education, and you've got to start at that youngest age. I don't know how far they can go given the numbers, but I hope that they give some focus.
Well, you know about full-day kindergarten? Right now in Washoe County, 20 of the 63 elementary schools already have full-day kindergarten funded by federal money.
Right.
And it's the same thing in Clark County. I really don't. I think that's the great secret the superintendents are not telling us.
Right. They don't share that piece, do they?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's very good.
And we should have more of that. By the way, the other thing, too, is that the federal government, through the Department of Education, is now actually taking a serious look at No Child Left Behind to see if they can resolve some of these issues that are causing problems for Southwest.
And the federal government has put a lot more money into No Child Left Behind, but when they say that it's underfunded, that's not correct.
They put a lot more money in, and it's underfunded. Actually,
absolutely, it's not.
Two correct answers.
And we'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Absolutely not.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And coming up tomorrow?
Well, Sam, we have Senator Randolph Townsend, the chair of the Commerce Committee in the Senate, and then we have Barbara Buckley, the floor leader in the Assembly.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.